This is Joe Perry, a.k.a. Little Snuff, on the Untold Interview.
Got my guy Joe Perry in the building, man. So
having
should I
me.
call you Joe Perry or?
Little Snuff?
Yeah.
Either one works. Little Snuff, really, though.
Okay.
My whole life, everybody called me Snuff anyway.
All right, so I got Lil Snuff in the building, man, from the Skinny Joey Show podcast. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Give me a backdrop. Where you from?
So born and raised South Philly.
Okay.
Family's from the Italian market on 10th and Carpenter.
Okay.
I grew up on 16th and Jackson, St. Monica Parish. So that's where I went to school at.
Right.
I was baptized at St. Paul's on the Italian market, though. But I grew up on the other side, 16th and Jackson. That's where my mom wanted to live. You know, my mom didn't want me to live on 10th and Carpenter. So, yeah.
It's a little hoodish over there.
You know what it was? It was more gambling at that point. My mom wanted to keep me away from gambling.
Gotcha.
But unfortunately, it didn't work anyway, so we should have stayed there because I love gambling, you know. But, yeah, born and raised there. Went to St. Monica's, school. Mm-hmm. You know, had a great childhood. Parents are still together till this day. I have a little sister. You know, her name's Monique, real estate agent now. Just lived in a culture in South Philly. Everybody got along, Italian background, but just, it's South Philly. It's different.
Speaking of South Philly, Joe, who fought to park those cars the way they park?
Listen, my biggest video went viral about the parking authority.
I remember.
So I don't know why. The parking authority is not owned by the city of Philadelphia. It's a private company. Yeah. It's a private company. The city of Philadelphia has nothing to do with the parking authority. They probably make a little money on the back end, but it's a privately owned company. Who knows who owns it? They're gazillionaires, but they torture my life.
What I did see one where I think it was the trash truck. The trash truck.
Yeah.
What is your beef with the trash truck?
I love the trash company. I love the trash guys. They're my boys. They all watch the podcast. But how could it be every day you're stuck behind a trash truck? It's either construction or a trash truck everywhere you go.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it.
Yeah.
And now there's 2 pickups a week, so they even buried us even more.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Growing up in South Philly, man, how did you navigate through South Philly? Because, for me, South Philly, I love South Philly. I lived down there twice, and I just love the people. I love the culture. It's like it's part of Philadelphia, but it's got its own world.
Yeah, we are our own world down there. Everybody says that.
Yeah.
Because it don't matter what nationality you are, with what race you are. You could walk in my house. I could walk in your house. I could go to 28th and McKean or 2nd and Jackson. Everybody knows you. Everybody says hello to you. There's never a beef. It's just the way I navigate it. My father had a strong personality, so he always knew everyone, because everybody's friendly.
Right.
And I always hung out with older people, so I always had the respect, because I was respectful, still am till today. It was always respect your elders, never curse in front of older people. You see an old lady or an old man down the street carrying their groceries, help them walk them into his house. So that's just how I was born and raised.
Well, how did you navigate, growing up in South Philly? Was it like easy going for you?
Easy.
It was easy.
We always got along with everyone, and especially in grade school, like everybody was friends. The kids I grew up with, even the girls, we're still friends till this day. Never had any trouble. I don't want to say I was one of the popular kids, but I never had an issue making friends.
Right.
So that was never a problem for me. And getting along and going through different neighborhoods, playing basketball, playing street hockey, anything, there was never an issue.
What's that playground? It's under the bridge. It's where that diner at. Forgot that playground. It's just a nice playground. I used to take my daughters there.
Well, you got 16th and Jackson playground, or you got 18th and Johnson, the park we call it.
18th and
Johnson. They got the pool there. They got the basketball courts. They got 2 baseball fields. There used to be a hockey court in there. Now there's a tennis court.
Yep.
So, I hung there too.
Yeah, I like that park. I actually like that one. And then it's where they do under the bridge where the old United Artists moved there.
Yeah. That's Rizzo Rink. That's the ice skating rink. And then you have 2nd and Jackson, which is another park over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, like I got a certain type of love and respect for South Philly, man, because like I said, you guys your own little world down there. So what's the link with Skinny Joey?
So we got him, me and Joe, I knew Joey my whole life. Okay. Joey's been friends with my father his whole life. My grandfather and his father were friends. We're all from, Joey grew up on 9th and Jackson, so it's right 10th and Carpenter, 9th Street, like everybody hung there. Everybody always used to play cards there, things like that. So before I was born, Joey knew me. Right. You know what I mean? And then, of course, when I was born, I became my father's Snuff. I became Little Snuff. So it was, 6 years old, hanging in the hangout. My dad owned a social club. They would play cards there all day long. So that's where my relationship started with Joe. I used to break his balls when he used to play cards all day. Yeah.
So you guys decided to start a show together, obviously. Yeah. When did it start? So it started 2 years ago now.
I was working in the car business. Joey got approached down in Florida on the golf course. Kevin Connolly, producer, he was in Entourage. Right. So, he's a big producer now. He made a couple movies. He went to Joey and said, would you want to make a movie on your life? And Joey said, no. And he said, how about, like a documentary or something, like a TV show? He said, no. He said, well, what about a podcast? He's like, a podcast? I don't know nothing about it. And we got on the phone that night. We talked, me, him, and this other guy named Wags. And he said, what do they want, a podcast? What could I talk about? And us three, we just bullshitted on the phone. Like, what would be your ideas? What's your ideas? Wag said what he thought. I said what I thought. Joey was just listening at that point. And he was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. He's like, it's just not for me. I don't want to do it. I said, I hear you. I said, but that's just my ideas. And then like a week later goes by, Kevin Connolly reaches out to me. And he says, do me a favor. He's like, I think I got Joey on the ropes. He needs a sidekick. So I was like, all right, a sidekick. He's like, well, I want you to do it. Joey wants you to do it. And I was like, okay. He's like, send me your content. At the time, I was in the car business. I was making Chevrolet commercials for the last 8 years of my life. So that's how I started. And then during that, I was doing gambling content, like making my own videos. A bunch of them went viral. It was just something that I liked. I sent him the content. He called me back in 10 minutes. He's like, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, I'm working. He said, all right, you're working tomorrow. That was Tuesday. He said, Wednesday, get on a plane. You're coming to Florida. We're going to film a podcast. And that's how it started. Just like that.
Just like that.
I went there. Me and Joey had no script. We still don't have a script. He said, what do you want to do? I said, what about parlays and pasta? Parlays are big and food's big in the Italian culture.
Exactly.
He said, all right. I said, and then I got another idea. Why don't we tell your life story through court documents? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, all the court documents, all the, the court cases that you had that you got acquitted for, that the government doesn't want to say that you were found not guilty, or the newspapers, we could tell the truth and tell the story on how you got acquitted, and let's go from there. And he was like, that's a good idea.
That was dope, man. And you guys, pretty much started building your show off of that.
Yeah.
Guys got some powerful guests.
Yeah, we had some powerhouses on the show. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's cool.
Yeah.
You never realize who really watches the show,
right? Until
they reach out, or you reach out to them. They're like, "Oh, yo, I love the podcast." You know what I mean? So we had some big guests so far.
Now, starting the podcast, did you think twice about it, or was it something that let me give this a shot?
Well, I had a full-time job. Like I said, I was in the car business. I worked a ton of hours a week, and I loved the car business. I got clean and sober in the car business, so it helped me. When it was presented to me, I went to my wife, and because she worked with me at the time. And when you have a good girl in your life, your decisions come easy. You know what I mean? Because you have somebody that's going to have your back. You know what I mean? And I always say that on every show I do. Like my wife, it wasn't even a thought. I was like, listen, Joey wants me to do a podcast with him. And what do you think about it? She said, what do I think about it? She said, go tomorrow. She's like, it's going to be a home run. And that's all she had to tell me. And then eventually I knew as the show was taking off, I was going to lose my job at the dealership, because that all comes into play after, people get jealous. It is what it is.
Right.
That's life. Unfortunately, not a lot of people are happy for you in this life, and it's a shame, because I want to see everybody succeed.
Now, what made you want to get into the car business?
So I was in this, prior to this, when I grew up, I always had a job. I worked at Dad's Stuffings at 10 years old, the butcher store on my corner. I always had a job, because back then True Religion jeans were popping. I wanted to make my own money to go buy my own True Religion jeans.
Right.
So that's how my first job was, washing dishes, $5 an hour. After Dad's Stuffings, I started to work at the saloon as a busboy, Fitzwater Cafe as a waiter. Did that. Then I went to Stogie Joe's on Passyunk Avenue. They opened up. I was a busboy, an expediter, a bartender, waiter, delivery driver. I did it all. I always liked working. Then I got into the union. When I got into the union was right around the time started my addiction. After my addiction, that's when I started in the car business.
Now, what addiction you talking about?
I'm clean and sober, 8 going on 9 years off of drugs and alcohol.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that miss, you know, like did that take a toll on your life?
Yeah, it did. You know, all them never have I evers or never will I do that, they all came true for me. You know, nobody in my immediate family ever did drugs. I was the first person. You know, there was no reason for me to do drugs. I liked them. When people say, oh, what's the reason? You know, some people had a childhood experience. That never happened to me. I just truly liked being high. That's the reality of it, you know? And it took me down a path that I thought I would never go to.
Now, did that interfere with, you know, because now you got some people that was addicted and they couldn't function. Then you got your functioning people that, you know, was on drugs. Which one were you? I
would say in the middle because I still had a job, but everything started becoming unmanageable. My relationships with, you know, my ex-girl, my sister, my parents, my boss, everything started falling apart around me. You know, when you can't get out of bed in the morning without snorting 4 Percocets, you're in trouble. You know what I mean? You know, the alcohol came first, the coke came after that, the drugs. It's all one big disaster. So my life started becoming unmanageable.
Now you was playing a deadly game right there, man. That combination would take an average person out of here.
Yeah.
How did you sober up? Like, what was your process?
So I went away to rehab 4 different times.
Okay.
And the first time I went away to rehab, I got dropped off to Joey in Florida. So our relationship has always been there. You know what I mean? Right. And I wouldn't say he was disgusted with me. He was more disappointed in me. Like, what are you doing? You're not this kid. You know what I mean? He had the restaurant at the time called Merlino's. I ate there with him, you know, fed me, and then boom, they took me off to rehab. First time didn't work because I did it for that person. Second time didn't work because I did it for my family. Third time didn't work because I did it for my ex. The fourth time was I'm doing it for me. And as soon as I said I'm doing it for me, September 11th, 2016, I've been sober ever since.
Congratulations, man. Thank you. It wasn't like a health scare or nothing like that. You just wanted to shape up.
You know what it was? You know, you always get caught. Every hustle has its stop sign. You know what I mean? You're always going to get caught. And that night, say September 10th, I woke up in the middle of the night. I was living on my parents' couch because I got thrown out of my ex's house with her. That was a disaster. And I didn't know this. My mom comes barging in the room like 8 o'clock in the morning. She's like, get up. I'm like, why? Get up, come downstairs. I go downstairs. My mom, my dad, and my sister in the kitchen. And there's a piss cup, urine cup on the kitchen table. It's full. I'm like, I didn't piss in that. In the middle of the night when I went to the bathroom, my mom heard me go to the bathroom. She came behind me when I went back to bed, scooped it. The motherfucker lit up like a Christmas tree. Every drug, every alcohol from every head to toe. So when I went downstairs in the kitchen, they said to me, that's it, you're done, get out. And I was like, something said to me like at that point, you know when you're caught and you got no way out. I just looked back and I was like, you know what? I said, I want to go to rehab right now. You're right. And my dad was like, you're not going. What do you mean I'm not going? You're going to detox in that bedroom. I said, I'll kill myself because I can't. You know, you can't. People who say that they don't need rehab and they could detox themselves, buddy, God bless you if you do it. You're 1 in a million. You know what I mean? So he wound up eventually saying, you want to go away? Pay your own way. Go yourself. You know what I mean? I had insurance, but you know, you always got to pay a deductible, whatever. My sister wasn't talking to me at the time for like a year, but her and my mom drove me to rehab that day. And for some reason, it was just like something clicked. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to change my life. And, and I changed my life.
And that's dope, man. That's dope, man. So right after that, well, let me ask you something. When did you start doing your personal blogs, like Instagram and things like that?
So I would say I always been on, Facebook, and then Vines came out and Instagram. I would say Instagram is where I really got popping at. Okay. You know what I mean? After rehab, I get in the car business. So once I'm in the car business, I get hired. My sister's best friend's father comes to me. I'm delivering cheesesteaks. He says to me, what are you doing? I say, I just came home. I'm 30 days sober. He's like, I got a perfect job for you. Come work for me in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And when you're from South Philly or Philly, you're like, I ain't going to Jersey. That's too far for me. He's like, it's 10 minutes from your door. I'm telling you, you'll love it. I said, all right, I gave it a thought, you know. Next day I called him. I said, you know what? I'll take the interview. I'm like, I ain't even got clothes at this point. You know what I mean? Like no shoe, no dress clothes. He's like, don't worry about it. Just come in a t-shirt. I just want you to meet the boss. I said, all right. I went. The boss loved me. He said, start tomorrow. Started tomorrow. And I fell in love with it. At that point of my life, I needed the car business because it gave me structure.
Right.
9 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. But when I got in the car business, going to social media, I said to myself, I need a niche. All these guys are older. They've been selling cars for 30 years. They got their previous customers. I got nobody. I had like 300 followers on Instagram. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a goofy video. This guy that worked there with me, his name's Wags, Jimmy Wags. Love him. Still talk to him. He says to me, he says, why don't we do a Christmas commercial video? I said, all right. So my boss, Dante, says, why don't we ghost ride a bike? You on the bike, ghost ride it, start screaming about Chevys, selling Chevys for less. All right. Sounds good. I did the commercial. I posted it. I said, this is crazy. An hour goes by. It's had like 30,000 views. Now, back then on Instagram, to get 30,000 views,
That's
crazy.
A big.
My followers started piling and piling and piling. You know, one day I got 3,000 followers from 300. It's like crazy. So I parlayed it. You know, I just kept making the videos, making the content. Before you know it, I started selling 20, 30 cars a month. Oh, you're the kid from Instagram. Oh, Q102 came, Rachel on the radio. She came. I love your commercials. I sold her a car. You know, it was just like everything was working in my favor. Now at that point, I'm 6, 7 months sober. I'm like, you know, this is working. I'm making money. I'm doing the right thing. Let's just keep the ball rolling. Then I started doing gambling content because, you know, gambling got humongous in the last 5, 6 years.
Right.
Before you know it, I have 14,000 followers. Yeah, on Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, before you did the commercial, was you a poor salesman?
No, I was great right off the bat. My boss, Dante, he always used to say, I'd never seen a kid that could tell he's got a deal from a handshake. As soon as the person would walk in the door and the way they shook my hand, I knew I had them. I knew I had them.
Now, how do you identify who got money and who's willing to spend money?
Never judge a book by its cover. The people that look like they don't have money, they always are the people with the most money, and they're always the people that are the happiest with you. The guy who walks in with a Rolex and a Ferrari is going to treat you like a piece of shit. The person who pulls up in a Buick, an '04 with dirty sneakers on, he's going to treat you like your family.
Yeah, that's I bought a Pontiac G6 from Barbaros.
Yeah, Barbera on the Boulevard.
I actually caught the bus up there, caught the bus right up there, and I went inside there. I had some pajamas on.
Yeah.
Some pajamas on, went in there, got a car. They thought I didn't have no money or nothing. I went
Of course.
there, got my first Pontiac G6.
Yeah.
What was your sales pitch?
So my sales pitch, honestly, was we sell Chevys for less. That was really it. Like, I was just like, you know, I came up with this saying, selling Chevys for less. So people always just were like, what do you mean you sell Chevys for less? And I always would say, I might not have the lowest price, but at 2 o'clock in the morning when you get a flat tire, you're going to call me on the phone and I'm going to answer. So is my payment that's $10 more a month better than that guy who's $10 cheaper, who's never going to answer your phone call? They say, I'm going with you.
Yeah, because that's how I am with car dealerships. I need to have a one-on-one connect with somebody.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. So then you transitioned into making your IG videos, and then that took off to...
That took off to a different level. And then my boss seen, you know, I was killing it for 3-4 years. I won a Rolex, you know, vacations, you know, we had it going on in the car business. The group of guys I work with, all great, still talk to them till this day, managers, everybody. What was, my boss said to me, listen, you're done selling cars. Now it's time to become a manager. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, I'm ready for this. He was like, you want to take it. And I became a manager, loved it. And then as we kept rolling, then the podcast presented itself.
So you just dropped it like...
No, what happened was when I gave my commitment to Joey, I wanted him to know that I was 100% in. You know what I mean? Because you're playing with somebody's life. This is his life story. So I'm not going to say to him, all right, I'll do it. And then 2 weeks later, I tell him, Joe, you know what? This ain't for me. You know what? I'm not that type of person. So I said to him, you know, I'm all in. Not knowing that I would lose my job 2 months later. I thought maybe 6 months, you know, whatever the case may be. My wife told me, she said, you know, they're going to fire you, but who cares? And that's when I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go full force. And that's what happened.
Take a leap of faith, man. A lot of people today, they don't have the balls to do that.
Yeah.
They rather, work a regular 9 to 5 and play it safe. So for you to do that, that's really a big deal. So now you're on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
You guys got everything rolling. Did it become where? Did it get to a point where you guys are making a living off of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I'm not interested in playing it safe. I'm looking to gamble. I'm looking to risk it all to get the reward at the end of the day. It might not happen the first 3 times, but eventually it's going to happen. So I knew that if I get fired tomorrow, that eventually the podcast is going to make money. And for 6 months, we didn't make $1 bill. My flights, my hotel, the camera crew, the podcast studio, that was all had to get paid for. You know what I mean? So at the time I lost my job was right before Thanksgiving. I knew that I was going.
What year was that?
This was 2023.
Okay.
Because now we're 25. Yeah, it's almost 2 years. So I go to my wife and I just felt it. When you feel something, I said, they're going to fire me today. And she says, what do you mean? I said, they want to have a meeting with me at 10 o'clock. This was the boss. He was from Delaware. He wasn't from Philly. He didn't understand any of social media. He was old school. So she said, they're going to fire you? I said, yes. She said, well, instead of them firing you, go in there and just quit. I said, you're right. I said, why should I let them have the advantage on me? I said, I gave them my life for 9 years. I went in there. I threw my keys on the desk. I said, I quit. And that was the end of Rico. And then we were full steam ahead with the podcast. Started making money maybe 2 weeks later. Everything happens for a reason.
Right. 9 years is a lot, Joe.
Yeah, I was in the car business 9 years, yeah.
9 years is a lot. And you would think that a person being loyal to a company for 9 years, that you wouldn't even have that in the back of your head that you're about to, be fired.
Yeah. Well, you know what it was? People were coming in. And I'm not tooting my own horn. People were coming in the dealership to take pictures with me. He's from the Skinny with Joey Merlino. Little Snuff works over here. They would walk in the door, say, is he here? I would have to either hide in the back because I felt weird. Like, this guy's getting mad at me for taking pictures. You know what I mean? Like, then it's taken away from my, my career. So he comes to me one day and he says to me, you got 15,000 followers on Instagram because of us. I said, because of you. I said, I got 15,000 followers on Instagram because of me. Now I got 90,000 followers on Instagram and it ain't because of him. That's for sure.
So you working at a job that you're in competition with.
Exactly. They were jealous. I got bigger than them. That's the problem.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So did they ever circle back around and say, hey, let's...
That one guy never did. Because he's that type. Everybody else, they all were on my side. I can't believe they're doing this to you. But everything happens for a reason. I have no bad blood about it because if they would have kept me, who knows where I would be.
Now, what's the pros and the cons of doing a podcast?
So I would say the pros are the experience that you get, the different people that you meet, the different things that you learn. Like, I met people and learned things that probably I would never learn before. The negatives, I would say, is if you don't want to be bothered one day and you're, just walking down the street or you don't want to talk on camera, that's the negative. But, I never feel that way. I love my job, which is podcasting. I love everything about it.
Now, would you say it's a podcast or a show? Because this is the miscommunication I have with people that have podcasts. Because if you got lights, cameras, and you guys are talking, and you guys are and certain things are scripted, or even if it's off scripted, I consider that a show, Joe. Yeah,
we don't have a script at all. We don't write anything down. I would say ours is more like a show because our everything. It's episodes, what I mean? We're on episode 78. So, it's a show,
Yeah, I agree. Because a lot of people are like, I got a podcast. I said, but listen, the fine definition of a podcast is an audio experience.
Yes.
We just started putting it on YouTube and stuff like that. So I say your show bigger than that. It's a show.
Yeah. Well,
it's not a podcast.
Yeah, I never realized that, honestly.
Yeah,
I never did.
Yeah, tell Skinny Joe.
Yeah,
man,
I am.
You guys got a show,
yeah,
man.
we do. Yeah, you're right. 100%.
So, all right, what you guys working on now?
So right now, we're working on the cheesesteak store.
Okay.
South Philly, Skinny Joey's Cheesesteaks. We've been doing it for about a year now. If it wasn't for bad luck, we would have no luck. Every issue happened to the place. We had to redo the whole thing. It's 3020 South Broad Street, Skinny Joey's Cheesesteaks. That's what we're working on right now. But in the meantime, we're still making episodes every single week. You know what I mean? So that's where we're doing, trying to get new guests, things like that.
Now, Joe, listen. I'm a cheesesteak lover. All right. Now, a lot of people can't make cheesesteaks.
Of course they can't.
You know, I like my fried onions, the mayo, and all that stuff. Now you got the people that took the tradition away, and now they just add the sharp cheese.
Yeah, everything's Cooper Sharp. Everything.
Right.
That's everybody has it.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you on camera, what makes a cheesesteak?
The bread.
Yes. He's a cheesesteak guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
if
obvious.
the roll is messed up,
yeah.
I don't care what the cheesesteak is.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't matter. So what's some of the things that's on the menu?
So we're going to have chicken cheesesteaks. We're going to have cheesesteaks. We're going to have cheeseburgers. We're going to have hot dogs, sides, of course. Are you familiar with Florida-style panzerottis?
Yep.
We're going to have roast pork from Esposito's, which is the best. And then as we go on, we're going to add the roast beef. We're going to have the homemade meatball sandwiches, things like that.
That sounds good. So is you guys gonna keep it local, or y'all gonna build it like?
Hopefully, we franchise it.
Okay.
The first one is where we have a big area, so we want to make it like an experience. You come there, you can watch the podcast, you can watch the game. We're going to have a courtyard with TVs playing, so it's kind of going to be more of an experience.
Now, would the customers come in there on a regular day? Would they happen to see you or Skinny walking through there
all day long?
Yeah, I like
all
that.
Day long.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. Now the prices.
Well, prices right now with everything is so high. You know, I see. Where did I see it today? Somebody had up that eggs were $8.99 a dozen today. Like something crazy.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
You know, the food business, you don't make a lot of money.
Yeah,
the cost of the food is too much money.
And that's why you got to have some type of passion and some type of, it got to be like something that, a family business.
Yeah.
Because if you think that you're going to come in that type of industry and try to make some money offhand, it's not.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
And I believe that the show is definitely going to boost it up.
Yeah, of course.
You guys already open?
No, we're not open yet. We're going to probably be open. It's either going to be March 15th or April 1st. So it's coming.
Okay.
So next month.
April 1st is a good day.
Yeah.
Y'all going to have some celebrities down there?
Yeah, there's going to be a few. Yeah.
Man, we got to come in the building.
You know, when you have a show like we have, and we got to meet different people and have Joey Diaz on the podcast, Amber Rose, Pete Rose, Fat Joe, Scott Storch, all these people we kept in touch with. It was all in the strength. They loved the podcast. We loved them, and everybody helps each other.
Now, Fat Joe,
yeah.
You guys had him. You guys got him on the show after he did the interview on My Expert Opinion.
Yes.
He caught a little flack on there.
Yeah.
Did that take the views up or down?
I would say they took them up. Listen, you're always going to have negative comments. You know what I mean? People are saying whose story's not real and this, that, the other. Listen, what's the guy got to go on there and lie for? His name's already Fat Joe. He's already a millionaire. He doesn't need your confidence to say you believe his stories.
Right.
You're always going to have. I get negative comments all day long. It's one thing I don't do. I never read comments.
I tell that to everybody.
Never.
Stop reading the comments. Whether they're good or bad, just don't read it.
The bad comments are better. If there's a bad comment, and the reason why it's better for the algorithm is because people see the bad comment, then they re-comment back or they share their comment. That's what makes the algorithm keep going.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So you guys are actually shooting in Florida.
Yes.
Do you guys want to bring it up more north?
Well, Joey lives in Florida. I live in Philly. So, there's nothing really we could do besides if I move there or he moves here. If you do it on Zoom, it's not as good as in person.
It's not. That's why when you ask me, is it in person? I said, nope, we do it in person.
It's got to be in person. Zoom stinks.
And it's not entertaining.
No.
It's not entertaining. What is one thing that, that you went through in life, that you would want to share? Well,
I would want recovery, for sure.
Okay.
Being sober and clean, and with mental health that's out there right now, and a lot of people have challenges with it. My main thing to tell people is just reach out for help. Don't be embarrassed because, you're one drink, one pill, or one bad decision away of dying, and you never get that back.
Yep. I had my guy, Damon Feldman, the owner of Celebrity Boxing, on the show.
That's my buddy.
And he had told us, he said, he don't condone the drinking and things like that because it almost ruined his life.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people, they go down that rabbit hole in life, and some of them don't get a chance to get out of it.
Never.
Some of them become abusive to their loved ones and things like that, abusive to themselves.
Yeah.
You know, what is one thing that that if a person is knee deep into it and they don't have an outlet for it, you know, what's one thing that they could do?
Well, you'll have access to social media. Everybody has access to it. Literally, if you scroll on social media, you're going to see somebody talking about if you need help, reach out. You know, and I always say that, like, if you don't have access to a phone or anywhere, walk yourself to the nearest hospital, walk yourself to the nearest clinic, and just tell them, listen, I need help. And if they tell you that they don't have a bed for you, some people have to tell them that they're going to kill themselves. They have to give you help. They have to.
In this journey where you at, this is a new journey for you. What are some of, you know, what's one or two of, you know, your goals that you're looking forward to? So
I would say my biggest goal looking forward to is to make sure my wife lives the best life that she can live. You know, including my mom, dad, and sister, you know what I mean, my family, you know, but I'd rather see them enjoy it than me, because I always said this since I'm a kid, like, I'll always find a way. Whether it's this, that, anything, I'm always going to make money. You know, it's just how I am, you know. But my biggest goal would make sure that they're set up, you know. Like, make sure that they could go down the shore for the summer. I'm all right. I could go work. You know, I'm fine with that.
How important is family to you?
Oh, the biggest. Yeah, I got a big relationship with my mom, my dad, my sister. You know, we're very close.
Now, was your family like one of those families back in the day? Hey, my house is your house.
Yeah.
All your friends come over.
Yeah. The kids I grew up with, still till this day, you know, they can walk in my house tomorrow. I can walk in their house tomorrow. We always had that kind of relationship, you know. Even when I got older, I started cooking dinners where I had my house, and everybody, I would have Sunday dinners. There'd be 30, 40 people in a house on a Sunday, watching football, gambling, meatballs, sausage, macaroni every Sunday.
Sound good.
Yeah.
Did you fix that for the Eagles?
Yes. That's why I got my hoodie on today. Yeah.
So all right. So okay. The Eagles, they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And the whole city celebrated. But the main part of Philadelphia is South Philly that go ballistic for not only the Eagles but the Phillies and the Flyers.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think it's because we're so blue collar and we just love fighting. Like, we want to be the underdog. You know what I mean? Like, we want that. We want to be saying, all right, they have no shot and we win. Well, you know, we just want to get beat, and then we're going to come back and beat you worse.
Now, are you a Eagles fan, win, lose, or draw?
I would say I'm more of a gambler when it comes to the Eagles. Okay. I am an Eagles fan. I'm not the biggest Eagles fan. You know, I'm not going to lie and say that I am. But I root for the Eagles. I root for all the Philadelphia teams. But in order, it would go Flyers, Phillies, Eagles, then Sixers. Yeah.
The Flyers is
dope. I'm a big hockey guy.
Yeah. Flyers is dope. And that's one thing, when I lived down South Philly, man, I used to see all the kids still playing with their little roller skates.
Yeah, on crates.
Yeah.
You don't see that no more.
You don't see that no more. And that was about 10, 12 years
It's because of this stupid phone.
Yeah.
This ruined everything.
But that stupid phone got you popping.
Yeah, but not for the kids, though. The kids, they can't control themselves. They don't even know how to ride a bike. Like, it's nice. Today's 50 degrees and sunny.
Right.
I drove around South Philly. I didn't see one kid outside playing. Not one. It's embarrassing. Not even go dribble a basketball, go put on roller skates, go get a scooter. They rather sit in and they play that, Call of Duty or all that stupid shit.
The bikes that's in Walmart and Target, they're fully stocked. Because none of these kids want to play it. They want to be on their phone.
Every year since the podcast, for the last 2 years, and Joey's been doing it since the 80s, we gave out this year $100,000. We gave out 100 kids got a dinner at the Mummers Museum. They all got a bike, they all got a helmet, they all got a jacket, and they all got 2 toys. And a full dinner. Santa Claus was there. Thanksgiving, like we set up for them every year. We give to the veterans every year. We give to breast cancer. We give to the SPCA for the pets. We give to prison reform. We gave to Wallow 267. Like, we make sure everybody's taken care of. Some of the kids that we give the bikes to every year, they never seen a bike.
Wow.
You know?
Wow, that's
So,
good. That's
yeah.
good. And I like that you guys are giving back to the community. What is your vision for South Philly?
My vision for South Philly, small businesses that are still around till this day. Like, I'll give you one right now. Rittner Hardware, 17th and Rittner.
I remember that.
Still there.
Melrose Diner.
Melrose Diner. Yeah. Dad Stuffings. You know, them neighborhoods, you know, the people that are in there make them neighborhoods. You know what I mean? So you got to keep them traditions alive. Like, people that want to go to Home Depot or Lowe's, no, go to Rittner Hardware.
Yeah.
Let the guy make $1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what keeps the neighborhood nice.
And why did they take away Melrose Diner?
I don't know. I think the guy who owned it sold it, and then I guess they just wanted to knock it down. But Melrose had the best.
Best, man.
Best.
Now, like I said, so what's the one that's all the way down Oregon?
Oregon Diner, and then you have Penrose Diner.
Penrose Diner.
Yeah.
They're good.
Nothing like
Melrose. Man, that late night. Oh my God. And they kept it old fashioned.
It was like a club in there late night.
Yeah.
You could pick up a girl in there late night. That's how many people were in there.
Yeah, and the food was impeccable.
Yeah, it was.
So for you and Skinny Joey, right? Do you guys actually want to take this show on the road? Because you know how certain podcasts they travel with it.
I think after the cheesesteak store opens, we're going to do more stuff like that. You know, we did do a show this year in Wildwood. We did one in Margate down the shore. This year we're going to do 2 or 3 more of them, but probably go to like different cities. You know what I mean? Because, like my buddy Little Mo Mozzarella, he's doing stand-up comedy right now. He just sold out his tour. You know, it took him 6 years to do what he's doing. We're doing like this kind of stuff that we're doing now in a year and a half. So, you know, I can't imagine where we'll be in 6 years.
You guys got to check those little townships like Lewisburg, PA, Williamsport, things like that, because they be wanting, you know.
I know.
They want you know, to show up there as well. My last question. What is one thing no one know about you, but they need to know?
One thing no one knows about me, but they need to know.
There we got him. I think we got him.
Damn. Let me think. Well, everybody does know. I really can't read. I don't know if that counts. But I don't know, man. That's tough. It's tough. That's a tough question.
Joe,
you know?
We get everybody with that.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
We get everybody.
Because I feel like my life's so public. Everybody knows everything about me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would never shy away from talking about recovery. I never shied away from any of it.
We got him, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, Joe, man, it was a pleasure,
Thank you for
coming
having
up
me.
on the show, man. When you guys open, we there.
Thank you.
We're gonna show our support, you know, and you know, bring more awareness to the establishment. You know, give me a cheesesteak down there.
Of course, and a cup of coffee. Make sure you come.
Oh yeah, I need the coffee.
The Skinny Coffee. It's made by Burnt Coffee. It's a company made from Seattle. Listen to me, and I'm not just saying this because it's our coffee. It's the best. Like, literally, when I run out of coffee, I'm texting my boy, yo, I need more coffee. Like, come on, you know what I mean? Coffee's that good. Make sure you go in there, check that out. The Skinny Coffee, you know, it's just great.
Now, what's your favorite coffee?
I like just regular. I'm a regular coffee guy. I don't like no hazelnut, none of that shit. I just like regular coffee, cream and sugar. I'm good.
You don't mix it like with the good French vanilla?
No. You know who has the best coffee besides my coffee ever? That I've been drinking it every day my whole life. Gino Steaks.
Gino Steaks.
They used to be 50-cent cup of coffee. Me, my father, and grandfather. They were there for 30 years in the morning. Then I started going when I was old enough. Best cup of coffee for 50 cents in the city.
How about they steaks?
They're good. Yeah, Gino's and Pat's are good.
That's the tourists.
Yeah, of course. But we're from South Philly, so we eat there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody said.
And I think it's the vibe. It's a vibe.
Yeah,
it's a vibe, especially when it's hot outside.
Yeah.
You want to go there because everybody that is down there.
Yeah.
Everybody, especially people that's out of town, they go there.
Yeah, like I knew Joey Vento. I know the Alveri. Like I know these people my whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People say they're tourist traps, but listen, they sell out of cheesesteaks.
They do. I mean, the numbers don't lie.
No, they don't.
The numbers do not lie, man.
Don't.
But we're going to be going to Skinny
Joey's
Cheesesteaks, man.
3020 South Broad Street. Don't forget it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, what's your favorite cheesesteak? How you like yours?
I just like mine double cheese. I actually like Whiz and American, no onions. I don't like onions.
What?
Hate them. I can't even smell them. I know. It's bad.
Come
bad.
on,
Yeah.
man.
No onions for me. Double cheese.
Double cheese. So what's that? Is it the orange whiz?
The orange whiz, American cheese, melt it with steak.
I'm gonna tell you something. Try this. Salt, pepper. Try American cheese and provolone cheese.
I like American and provolone.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
I do.
Okay.
You know, when I eat a cheesesteak at home, I always do salt, black pepper, ketchup. For some reason, when I eat it out, I don't do it.
You don't like
because
it?
they make the bread too mushy. Yeah. At home, I don't know. I do it better, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going down there. The Untold is definitely going to be in the building. You said April the 1st.
Yes, April 1st.
What time?
I don't know. I mean, I'll probably be there at 5 a.m., so hopefully we'll be open by 10 a.m.
Now, could we catch you making a cheesesteak?
You'll catch me on that grill. Not every day, special guest appearance.